Hi guys, today I wanted to do I guess an update, and I don't even know how to start this. I feel like a lot of you are gonna think that I'm like complaining, and I guess I am, but you guys know I suffer with anxiety. I have for 5-6 years now, and it's only gotten worse recently. I talked about that in my last, I think it was like a vlog where I talked about a panic attack I had. Since that day happened, it's only gotten worse, and it's getting to be really ridiculous. Most of my anxiety that I've had in my life has been moderate to minor, and there's been moments where I thought, wow, I'm doing really well, I can manage it, and it was very, very manageable. And now it's gotten to the point where it's severe. Not even moderate, it's severe. It's getting in the way of my everyday life. Like even going outside, go for a walk or go do the cat litter, like I start to feel anxious. I can be watching TV, feel anxious, and that's happened before where like, I'm totally safe and comfortable and I'm getting like generalized anxiety that just comes on for no reason. But now it happens whether there's a trigger or no trigger when I'm out too. And it's getting to the point where I can barely even leave my house by myself. I can't even go down the street to go to CVS by myself anymore because it's so bad, and it's just not fair, and it's really frustrating. And so what I want to talk about was my vacation. So I don't know, I guess you guys would know if you all me like on Instagram and stuff, but I was on vacation a couple of weeks ago. Going up to vacation, it was like my family. So normally for me, if I was going away with friends or something, I would be a lot more anxious. But with my family, normally I'm totally fine because it's my family. That's my safe place. Whenever I'm anxious out, I'm like, okay, I'll come home and I'll feel okay. And that's what's frustrating me at this point, is that it used to be my safe place and now I can barely even be home. So it's closing my world smaller and smaller. So like I can't make plans with people, I can't go out, I can't do anything, and now it's just getting smaller and smaller. So before vacation, I knew my anxiety was getting really bad. I was having panic attacks regularly. I knew the night before that I was gonna be anxious about it. So the morning we left, I took I have the Xanax. I think I told you guys that I've been taking some Xanax just to help me out. The morning we left, I was driving with my mom. So it was me and my mom in the car, and I was driving, and I actually was really surprised. I was feeling okay, like I was definitely anxious. And so we were driving down, and on the drive, my anxiety was building and building and building the whole way there. Of course, I don't say this stuff to my mom because although she's supportive, if you have anxiety, you know how hard it is to tell people because there's no way they can understand because you don't even understand it yourself. There's nothing that can be done when you're feeling anxious like that. It's just really not fair, and it's super frustrating. And if you told someone every time you felt anxious, you'd be complaining about being anxious all the time. And that's kind of like where the issue is. So I didn't tell my mom I was feeling anxious throughout the ride really until we got super close because we kind of missed an exit, and it was really annoying, which made me a lot more uncomfortable because normally I would know the way, know the streets, and like feel a lot more comfortable about it. And then when we got there, the owner of the house was showing us around, making sure we knew everything and all the rules, and that's when I knew, pretty much the second I parked and got out of the car, that's when I knew I was feeling anxious, overwhelmingly anxious. I haven't felt that way in so long. I couldn't even unpack. I just felt miserable. I honestly, I don't even know that I could explain it, but I was getting so frustrated because I was like, I can't even go on vacation. That's how bad my anxiety is. Like I was ready to go home, and like I knew I couldn't drive home by myself, and I knew I would feel anxious if I went home by myself. Like I wouldn't want to be at the house by myself. Normally when I'm anxious, there's like something that I can do to make it go away, like okay, go home or go to the car. I couldn't have a solution that would make me feel not anxious, and it was just constant. Normally when I feel anxious, I'll take half of the Xanax because that's all that normally I'll need. I had to take a whole one because it was that bad, and I couldn't, even taking the whole one didn't take the anxiety away. All it did was make me not cry hysterically and freak out and be completely panicky, but I still felt my normal levels of anxiety throughout for no reason, and it was just really driving me crazy, and I was so ready to just go home. I just didn't want to be somewhere where I wasn't comfortable. And I first got there and I finally told my mom, like, I'm so anxious, I need to go home, like I can't be here. They had all went to the grocery store and I couldn't go, which is like one thing throughout my childhood, every time we went on vacation, when we first got there, we would go to the grocery store, stock up for the week. That's like the thing I looked forward to doing, and I couldn't even do it, and I just felt such a waste. So I actually called my sister and talked to her on the phone for a while, and she just helped in the way that if you've ever dealt with someone with anxiety or you have it yourself, you know there's really nothing to make it go away. But if someone just sits there and listens, that's it. It actually helps more than anyone trying to tell you to calm down or do this or do that for you. So all she had to do was like be on the phone with me and let me kind of complain and be like, yeah, that sucks, like I'm sorry that's happening. And it was helpful for me, I guess, in a way, but at the same time, like I didn't feel any better. The anxiety just wasn't going away. I couldn't really eat much because I just felt so nauseous, and just every like side effect of anxiety was protruding through and making my whole time so miserable. And so I had to take Xanax that night to even get myself to sleep. I was crying hysterically like all night, panicking. It was the kind of panic I have when I've told you guys in the past I have really bad like menstrual cramps, so bad that you feel like you're dying and you need to go to the hospital and like you actually are gonna die. That's the panic I was having, only I wasn't having cramps. If you've ever seen like a movie or TV show of someone in an elevator, like trapped in an elevator or something like that, and they're like hyperventilating and really freaking out, like that's what was happening. And I haven't had a panic attack like that in a long time. Most of my panic attacks are within myself. Most people around me wouldn't even know that they were happening, and this was so like out there and it was so bad. And like the thing is, even though I'm home now and I'm fine, like I survived and I ended up, like spoiler alert, I ended up staying the whole time, I don't feel proud. And I think that's what sucks so much about anxiety is I can't be like, oh, well done me, pat on the back, I survived, I made it through, now I can go away for the weekend or go and hang out with friends and it's gonna be fine. I don't feel that way at all. It feels like, why even bother doing any of that when I know I'm gonna feel anxious? Why even bother? And that's what's so frustrating, is because that's not what it should be like. And so I had to actually take Xanax every morning with breakfast. I had to literally take it every 6 to 7 hours to even feel functional, because I could tell when it was wearing off. Like I didn't want to take it to prevent anything. That's not how I am. Like I hate taking medicine in the first place. So I was taking it literally because that's how panicky I felt every day when I woke up. And then I had to take it every 6 to 7 hours, because at that 6 to 7 hour mark was when it started wearing out of my system and I could feel the panic take over. Even if I wasn't thinking about it and I was having like a decently good day, I could feel it. Like I could feel it building up. I could feel myself about to have a panic attack. So I had to take it just to feel somewhat capable of eating and getting out of the room that I was in. It was so bad. I can see how anxiety can build so much, I could see myself like becoming a hermit because it was so bad. And I was getting almost, not I want to say depressed, because I wasn't depressed and I'm not depressed. I just think I was getting so frustrated, and I can see how anxiety can make you depressed because you can't do anything and then you're stuck. And that's kind of how I feel. I'm just frustrated, like to no end, because you guys know I'm a very rational person. I'm always thinking rationally and thinking very practically. And because of that, anxiety is so irrational and so not practical, and it doesn't have reasoning or a reason behind it, and that's all I want, is to find a reason. And I think that's why I'm quite controlling in other parts of my life, because I can't even control my own brain and like the way my body is functioning. It's just like so frustrating. It was really a bummer for me to have to go on vacation when like we're supposed to be having a really good time. It's supposed to be like your time off. Like, I wasn't working that week. I didn't do any videos. I didn't bring my camera. I didn't vlog. I wanted it to be completely minus of that. I barely even went on social media. I think I posted a few photos. I just didn't want to even worry about anything. I wanted to completely detach from the internet. I didn't want to bring my laptop. I didn't at first, and my sister came down the next day and I needed her to bring it for me because I couldn't take my mind off of the anxiety unless I had something to distract myself. So I ended up having to go online. I just think that's so sad, and like it's just so frustrating to me, because I couldn't even just go on vacation and like have a good time. I was so miserable, and like anxiety can just do that to you, and it's so annoying to think that, because just I could tell myself like months ago, look how far I drove, or look what I did here, or like look what I accomplished with my anxiety. But it doesn't work that way, because then it could just come on so suddenly and it just like takes over, and it's really not fair. So now what I'm doing is, like, since we've gotten back, I've been looking into going back to therapy, and not every week. And I know therapy works for a lot of people and like that's great, but I've been to therapy for anxiety before, and I got everything I could possibly get out of it. I got some tips and things that still help me to this day, but it got to the point where all I did was talk about the same things over and over, and I don't want to be that person who like says therapy does this and like it's not helpful. And like for some people it is, but for me, I just felt like therapy helped to a point, and then my anxiety just plateaued and like didn't get any better. And I talked about this in my anxiety blog post that I did a while back, that really long one, and I just felt like it wasn't helpful for me. I felt like a lot of therapists try to make your anxiety about something deeper than it really is about. My anxiety isn't about my childhood. My anxiety isn't about certain things from my past that I've talked about with you guys before. It's not about that, and I feel like a lot of therapists try to be like, oh, well, maybe it has something to do with this, like it has something to do with that, but it doesn't. I'm telling you, like, I know me, and I know when I'm feeling stressed out, and I know that when I was in college, I could see my anxiety going up and down based on finals, based on when school started again, and things like that, but I don't have that anymore. I don't have to go anywhere, like I don't feel pressured or stressed at all, and the fact that I'm still having anxiety just for everyday things proves that it's not something that's triggering it. There's no triggers this time. It's not waiting in line or going to do this or like anything like that. It's literally just coming on so randomly and suddenly, and it's like constant throughout the whole day, and then it gets worse. And so I hate when therapists try to to make it about something it's not. I don't need to sit and talk to a therapist about my whole life story. I've done that before. It doesn't help. All you do is sit there and cry for no reason, and it's like things that like I've moved on from that still upset you. Like obviously there's always gonna be things that upset you in life, but my therapist wanted me to talk about things that just didn't matter anymore. And you know, since then, the things that I talked about when I went to therapy years ago have changed in my life and gotten better actually. Like anything I was complaining about then has gotten better in my life. It's just kind of like annoying. So what I did, because I had to find a doctor and I wanted to find a psychiatrist who could actually prescribe something, because I do genuinely 100% believe I have a chemical imbalance, and you guys know how hard it was for me to accept that. For so long I was like, I have to power through this. I have to work through my anxiety on myself, like on my own. It's my problem. I have to be able to overpower this on my own, and like to this point I can't. Like there's no way that I have no control over it at this point. So I'm ready to go on medication, and I need a doctor. Like the prescription I'm taking now is what I had when I was in the hospital. He gave me 2 weeks, and I've been like stretching that out since March. So it's been a while that I've been stretching that prescription out just to take Xanax when I need it, and that's still kind of what I want. But like I'm open to what the doctor has to say. If they have to put me on like a regulation or something. I was looking for doctors in my plan, and there was like one doctor who could prescribe stuff, and I had to go back to where I went before, which is through my insurance, and it was a nightmare, to be honest. I remember the first time I went, I had met my first appointment, I met with a woman who I really clicked with. I was like, wow, she really gets what I'm saying. I really like her. And then the next appointment, they're like, yeah, we're transferring you over to this other woman. Like that was just like your intake. So I had to go to a new woman who I didn't like. She didn't get me at all, and I had to answer all the same questions that I just answered in the last appointment. When you need help with anxiety and mental illness, you don't want to stretch it out week by week and like talk about the same things over and over and over. You just want to get to the point and get help. I feel like it just made my anxiety worse at that point. I had to talk to this woman, waste a whole hour, waste a whole like the money, the copay for the appointment, talking to this woman who I didn't even like, and answering all the questions I just answered last time. Like, why couldn't she just look at the notes of that the other woman took? So then I had to go back to the woman who I first went to, like, finally make appointments with her. And then this time when I went, which was just a couple of weeks ago, I made an appointment with the head of the whole department, because my mom works in the hospital and like she knows people. So I made an appointment with the head of the whole department, and we made the appointment with her. Like that's where my appointment was supposed to be. I get there, fill out paperwork, and then some other woman pulls me into the room who's not the woman who I made the appointment with, and I thought maybe she was like a clerical person, so I thought that's what she was doing. And then she was asking me questions, and I was just like waiting and waiting for her to introduce me to the woman who I was actually supposed to have the appointment with. But it wasn't that. This was just a social worker, and it was just annoying. I had to go through my whole history, which is annoying because now that I'm not going there, I'm gonna have to do it all over again. And like that's just like the last thing. I almost just want to like write down or like print out that blog post and like give it to the person, like read this. I can't be bothered. Go to this appointment, build up my anxiety, because I had to do with like a doctor, obviously, waiting in a waiting room, and deal with that. And it wasn't even an appointment with the woman who I was supposed to meet with. And then I told her, like at the end of the appointment, she asked me what I want to get out of this. Not the beginning. We could have literally not even wasted our time. She goes, what do you want to get out of this? And I said, well, I need a doctor who can prescribe something to tell me that I in fact do need a prescription, and that I do have a chemical imbalance, and it's not just like all like something I'm making up. And she was like, well, I'm not a pharmaceutical, like she doesn't know about the pharmaceuticals, but she's like, I don't think that someone's going to give you a prescription for Xanax what you had before. I'm like, okay, but if you just finished telling me you're not a person who could prescribe things, but yet you decide to tell me that anyway. And I was like, well, why not? And she's like, well, they're probably gonna want to put you on something that's more level to keep you level all the time. And well, if you listen to what I had to say, you have to take, like, doctors can't just like prescribe what they want to. They have to take what the patient wants into consideration. This woman just, you just told me you can't prescribe things, so why are you even giving me any advice about it? And then she also told me at the end of the appointment, when I specifically said all throughout the entire hour-long appointment, I didn't want to be in therapy every week. I don't want to come in every week and share my life story, share what's going on. Like, I don't think that's necessary. That's not my problem. I can come in and like talk to someone for 10 minutes and be like, okay, well, this is how the pill is working. You know, I think I'm feeling better, or I'm not feeling better, or whatever, but I'm not going to share my whole life story. And she said if I went through them, I'd have to do that. And I don't want behavioral therapy. It just doesn't work for me. I've been there, done that. I'm not expecting anything different. I clicked with the woman last time and it just didn't help. It only got to a certain point, and it's so bad now that that's not what I want to do. And I don't want to do, and that place also is a very far drive from me, so I'd have to have one of my parents go with me, and like I just don't want to deal with that. So At this point, I got recommendation from a really good friend of mine for someone else who could probably help me, and right now it is a holiday, so I can't call or make an appointment, but tomorrow it's not, so I'm probably going to call and try to see if they can accept me. My insurance accepts, or they accept my insurance, which is really good, and I'm hoping that they can help because they can prescribe, and like I couldn't find them through my insurance, but it says they take my insurance, so I'm going to look into that, and hopefully this is like my saving grace, because I did make an appointment with the doctor who runs the place that I went that really messed up my appointment, screwed things up. My mom actually ended up calling. She was so frustrated because we made an appointment with the head woman and didn't obviously get an appointment with her, and she said, oh, I was in a meeting, so like I wasn't going to be able to be there. So if you're in a meeting and you're not going to be able to make an appointment with a patient who needs to see you, don't you think you should call or have the office call them and say, oh, she's like out of the office, she's in a meeting, so you can either come and talk to a social worker or you can make a different new appointment for when she is available. Don't you think that's like the right thing to do? Because now, what if I did want to keep going to therapy every week? I just created a relationship with the social worker and spilled all my juicy secrets to her, and now I'd have to go another time and like, open up to a whole new person. And another thing about that is that you have to go to one person every week, and then the person who would prescribe something is a completely different person because the people who you're going to can't prescribe anything. And so pretty much you have to meet with this person you don't know, you have no like relationship with, and get them to approve the fact that you need medication, which makes my feelings feel not valid. It makes you feel like you're being tested to make sure you're sick enough to take a pill. But so that person who I would have had to meet with to get a prescription anyway, even if I did want to go to therapy, has a private practice who I made an appointment with, but he's a 75-year-old man, and I didn't want a man in the first place. I didn't want to have to deal with that. It's also quite far. And when we called, they were really rude in the office people. So I'm hoping that this other person my friend recommended is going to work out. I just want to kind of give you guys an update on my anxiety and complain about it. And I just wanted you guys to know what's been going on since I haven't vlogged. And a lot of you have been asking for vlogs, but I haven't done any and I don't really plan on it. And I feel bad because I love vlogging and I know you guys love those videos because I'm not going anywhere. I don't do anything but work and like clean cat litter and stuff around the house. So it wouldn't be interesting. I think also vlogging is just making me anxious because it makes me feel like I have to do something throughout the day. So at the moment I'm not vlogging. I'm going to try to do it. Hopefully I'll be getting better soon and then I can vlog more. You guys will be happy about that. Just want to give you guys an update. I hope that you got something out of this. I don't know if you just wanted it updated or if you feel related to or whatever, but thank you so much for watching and please subscribe to see more from me, that it's less like down in the dumps. I will see you guys soon.